everybody? It is NFL points, picks, and props, the divisional round. Joining me from Springfield, Massachusetts, it's Tommy Birch. Joining me from Chicago, Illinois, that's Ben O'Connell. I am Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. We bring you NFL points, picks, and props every week. The best podcast / YouTube show on the internet right now, telling you about all of the bets you should make in the NFL every week. And I say this having spent the last week watching about 20 different podcast YouTube shows, and my God, there's about maybe 2 of them that are watchable. One of them that's actually good. Boy, it's a frozen tundra of quality out there. So yeah. we hope that we fill that void for you as we are now knee deep in the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
We're gonna
playoffs,
Jim. We're gonna talk about playoffs because that's what's happening. I don't care if you want to talk about it. We're talking about it because this is the best week of the season. So we trimmed a lot of that fat from the playoff, from the wild card round. And let's be honest, of the 6 games, 5 of them were blowouts. Some fat. Now we've got 8 teams remaining. We finally have the 1 seeds back in, the 2 best teams in football, the 49ers and Ravens. They're playing this week. We've got the teams that were able to advance from last week. It's a hell of a week of football, guys. How excited are you? Are you as fired up as I am?
I love football. Yeah, football time. I'm so excited. I finally get to see my Niners play. I haven't seen the starters play in 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. I'm right there with Tommy. I'm excited. Maybe the college football playoff spoiled me because I thought that the first round was supposed to be entertaining, right? Like, what was this crap? Just the absolute beat downs left and right. Every game it felt like. But I'm excited. Hopefully we get some more fierce competition. I think that we got some more close matchups this week. So I'm just hoping that we get some real competition and some fourth quarters that matter, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, the one game that we talked about for weeks that looked like it was going to happen, the Lions and Rams, that ended up being a great game. The other 5 games were pretty much shit. So thank you to Dan Campbell and Sean McVay for not letting us down. In fact, let's go ahead and review what happened last week. We're going to go ahead and go through the 6 games, do a little self-examination of our picks. Most of us did well. Most of us did really well on our props. So we're going to go ahead and look at that. Again, we've got the first game that was the Browns and the Texans. Tommy and Ben picked the Browns, and because it was a blowout, we know who won this game. It was moi with my Texans pick. We there we go. There that's me with my big money bag and the 2 L's there for the other 2. We did not, however, do all that great on our prop bets. And so Tommy and I we're trying to hit for it. Ben goes very conservative. Just a couple of field goals, modest distances, still nothing. It was just one of those days. One of those days.
Oh, this is hurting me.
Yeah, nothing you could do about that. So that first game didn't go so well. Game number 2 on Saturday was the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Miami Dolphins. We all picked the Chiefs, and good on us. We all paid off with that bet. The Chiefs won easily. They handled the So the Dolphins offense, which had scored 70 points against the Denver Broncos, were held to 7 points against the Chiefs. Let me figure out what's the difference there. So 70.
Oh my goodness! Why are you doing this?
Minus.
Oh my goodness!
It's a 63-point difference between the Chiefs defense and the Broncos defense.
One help the American
I'm sorry. Am I being an asshole, Ben?
Oh no! I just wanted to make sure that you can do the math, Kyle. I just wanted to make sure that
that's why I have one of these babies in my pocket to do the math. Do you do math without a calculator?
Oh man.
Yeah, back when I was in 8th grade, I had the calculator on my watch. You guys didn't live through that era.
We got to get the graphing calculator so you can see the line graph difference between the 2 games.
Okay,
We were the
okay.
Chiefs won big, and hey, two of the three of us won our prop bets. Well done for us. Tommy had Mahomes over 254 or 49.5 passing yards. He got that. Pacheco, anytime touchdown, he got that. Ben with the under 16 and a half for the Dolphins. They only got 7, so Ben easily won that. The Dolphins punted on their first drive, but the Chiefs went down and scored a touchdown on their first drive, so I did not win. But hey, 2 out of 3 victories for us. That is a win in anybody's book. So well done on that game. On Sunday, well,
Oh,
we all bought into the NFC East hype. Oh, how stupid were we? The Green Bay Packers kicked their ass, and we all took L's. But not all was lost on the prop bets. Uh, Tommy looked pretty good early with Aaron Jones and Justin and Jake Ferguson getting touchdowns, but CeeDee Lamb did not get into the end zone. And because of the way the game worked out, Dak was throwing every other pass in the third and fourth quarters. Packers are playing really light defense. That helped me also hit my 3-leg for 304 plus 304. So we both did well on that game. But yeah, the Cowboys awful. Guys, obviously we just got word from Jerry Jones that Mike McCarthy is going to stick around. Any thoughts on that, considering that you've got, well, yeah, obviously you got Bill Belichick, you've got Pete Carroll, you've got Mike Vrabel, you've got some pretty good coaches sitting out there available. Stick it with Mike McCarthy after that kind of a beat down at home against the 7th seed?
I think this is a great decision for the Cowboys organization. You know, with how Mike McCarthy has led this team in the playoffs, I think they should sign him to a 10-year, $500 million contract and keep playing the same system. Don't change the coordinators, don't change the assistants. Start Dak until he's 40. Keep doing that. And the more you do that, the more you're going to get smacked by the Niners in the playoffs. So I'm all on board with this Mike McCarthy, like keeping him on board, regardless of all the talent that's swimming in the water. And let's be real, the talent that's within their own organization. There's some head coaching candidate just sitting there in Dallas waiting for his time to shine. But Mike McCarthy's the guy. I love Mike McCarthy.
Well, this really to me has Jerry Jones move written all over it. You ever heard of Moneyball? This isn't Moneyball, this is Jerry Ball, all right? And he's got to be the all-knowing genius at all times. He couldn't bring in a Bill Belichick who would have opinions on the roster and on how to build it and want to have some grasp on and control there. No, Jerry Jones knows how to put it together. Jerry Jones, in his infinite wisdom, all right, he's got it all figured out there with that oil money and that $1 million smile that Jerry Jones has that right there. He got that AT&T Stadium, and boy, do they got a big TV that the punters like to hit a lot. Listen, Jerry Jones was never going to bring in a smart football coach that could possibly have more knowledge about the game than him. It's impossible. And it's why Dallas fans, you're never going to see the Super Bowl. It's why you're the laughing stock of the NFL. There's fan bases that light themselves on fire and then jump through tables, and they're not the biggest laughing stock of the league, Dallas. You are. You are. Think about that. And you choose to be. We have no sympathy for you. It takes a lot of balls and bravery to be a Cowboys fan. Congratulations. This is what you get. Some more Mike McCarthy for you and some more Jerry Ball, huh? Go for it.
Until
Good. How about
until
them
Jerry
boys?
Jones, until Jerry Jones turns to dust, this Cowboys organization is going to do the same thing every year because, to be quite frank, Jerry Jones is the downfall of this organization.
How about them Cowboys? Huh? How about them Cowboys?
There's absolutely nothing more I can add to that. So let's go on to a game that involved two teams that we actually like and respect. Rams and Lions. Both you and both Tommy and Ben picked the Rams. I had the Lions. And god damn you cursed point spread. I
Yeah.
had the winning team. I had the winning team, but the point spread screwed me. So Tommy and Ben won that bet. I lost the bet, but I was with you, Detroit. I was in your corner, and thank God the Detroit Lions did that. They won that game, first playoff win in 32 years, and now for the first time ever, they are going to be hosting a game, hosting two games in the same postseason. How do we do on our prop bets? Well, Tommy had the over on both Goff and Stafford, and both of those hit. Well done, Tommy. Cooper Kupp let you down. He did not get into the end zone. And for me, Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. He got that early, and then Amon St. Brown, that last play, the last catch to salt the game away, to clinch the game, put him over 100 yards, and I hit my 276 plus 276 props. So we did well on our props, even if you guys snuck in the back door on the point spread bet.
I'm pretty sure that I got the over on the Jared Goff passing yards in the last drive too. So
Did you?
I actually I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I lost. I thought he had 250, like 255.
You got it. No, you can look it up. He did
got
get
the
it.
12 extra. So
you got it.
And Kyle, don't lie to the good people of Detroit here. Yes, I picked the Rams on the spread because I need everyone to get their money. But if you go back and replay the tape, you'll see me. I said that the Lions would win. I said that they would pull it out.
You were very much in the win column for the Snoil. That I can confirm.
Hey, let's go Snoil. Let's turn up.
All right.
Ben never wavers. He is still on the Washington Commanders train.
Next year we'll get him.
Boy, that was a train wreck. The game that continued to get pushed back because of snowfall. Hey, Buffalo, go ahead and build a fucking dome. This is Ben picking the Steelers to cover that spread. And hey, to be fair to Ben, in the fourth quarter, it was a touchdown game. The Steelers were within the margin of error, and maybe if they could have gotten a defensive stop, they could have done something. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, what a terrible game out of him. The Bills ended up winning by a couple of touchdowns at the end. Tommy and I, we cashed in. Ben did not. And how did we do on our prop bets? Well, because every single one of our prop bets involved a Josh Allen bid. And, of course, Ben, the most conservative pick of all, Josh throws an interception. Josh throws an interception. It's negative money because he always throws an interception, but we're still going to get it. For whatever reason, Josh Allen did not throw an interception, so none of us cashed in on that one.
If this had kicked off on Sunday in that snowstorm, I promise you all of my stuff would have hit. Like, they just pushed it back. Also,
total yards.
Also, I know this means absolutely nothing to the listeners, but I ended up playing Pittsburgh plus 14.5, and I thought that I was just a sad, sore loser as the Bills lined up for this chip shot field goal at the end with like a minute and 15 seconds on the clock just for him to swing it wide left. Bass, you're the hero, looking out for me and my money, and I want you to know that I see you, dude. I see you, and I appreciate you. You keep missing those balls, bro. You keep missing those.
And then the final game of the weekend, and again, we bought into that NFC bullshit hype. Philadelphia Eagles, we all talked ourselves into the Eagles riding the ship in the playoffs, and they did the exact opposite. They got their asses kicked by Tampa Bay. And the Eagles, from the NFC champions one year to why are you even in the playoffs the next? We all took the L on that, but we did not all take the L on our prop bets. Yes, Tommy and Ben did, but Rachaad White, 30-plus yards rushing each half. He had 39 in the first half. He had 33 in the second half. That is a plus 280 win for me. And I look really, really good in the standings thanks to that particular game. Let's go ahead and take a look at those where we stand right now. Against the spread, Tommy and I are both 3-3. Ben was 2-4 because he took those Steelers and not the Bills. Had he followed Tommy and I, we'd all be tied. On our prop winnings, Tommy had a couple of big wins, but then he had 4 losses. So he comes out $20 ahead. But hey, if you're betting on sports and you're ahead, you are a winner. It doesn't matter how much.
Hey, that's why we swing for the fences, Kyle, because even those couple little wins, they brought me in the positives, no matter how many times I lost.
Well, and the thing is that Ben was actually quite conservative. He was betting on punts, betting on interceptions, all the things that we thought were pretty guaranteed. You weren't expecting to win a lot of money, but you were expecting to win money. So it's a little surprising to see Ben in the negative, but we have every confidence that he will pull himself out of the red and into the black this week.
I have some good stuff
then
up, don't worry.
I am up $560 in my prop bets from the last week. I hit a plus 304, a plus 276, and a plus 280. So I had a good week on props. All good things. So that is the roundup of Super Wildcard Weekend, which really wasn't all that super. 5 kind of blah games. But now we get to some really good games, some good matchups, games I am fired up for. We're going to go ahead and start off with the first game on Saturday. It is the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 points. Ben is taking the Baltimore Ravens to cover that spread. Tommy and I like the Houston Texans. Tommy, tell us why you are on the Texans.
Well, I think that, after last week, what we saw, the whooping that the Texans put on Cleveland, as much as I understand having that first round bye, being able to rest is very important, but almost as important or just as important is momentum. And when you put up a whooping on a team that was supposedly going to be, because we thought that it was going to be a Browns Ravens or the Browns were going to make the second round. I don't know what the matchup would have been, but
you guys did. We didn't. You guys did.
Well, regardless, the Browns.
You're right. The Browns were favored in that game.
They were,
and a lot of people had the Browns.
Yeah, and we didn't really expect this to happen. And I honestly think that Houston is a better matchup against Baltimore than Cleveland would have been. I think that all around Houston has less weaknesses, a few less flaws. They may have been a level below when it comes to just like coming out and showing out on the field, like the talent level, stifling defense of the Browns, but they have less holes to poke through. And I think that that level of consistency and the fact that the Texans, they're always going to come out and play and they keep all their games close, even if they do lose, which I think they have a chance to win. If any team's going to beat the Ravens, it's going to be the Texans. But even if they do lose, I think it's going to be a close enough game where the 9.5 point spread is a little bit too big.
Well, what we saw from the Texans here in the wild card round was that they really were good against the run. The Browns are an excellent running team. The Ravens are an excellent running team. And the Texans did a great job of shutting down the run. One of the great things about having Will Anderson healthy is that not only is he good at rushing the passer, he's a really good run defender on the edge there. And we saw that in the wild card round. And I think that he will make a difference in this game. And also, let's not forget the Texans and Ravens played in week 1. And CJ Stroud, in his very first NFL start, he threw for 242 yards, did not throw any interceptions, had no turnovers in that game. The Ravens won easily, but that was the first start ever for CJ Stroud. Now he has an entire season under his belt. It's been a very good season. And like you, Tommy, I don't think the Texans are going to win this game. I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But 9.5 feels strong for a team that's really played well. I see this game being inside a touchdown and the Texans making this a game that goes down to the last possession.
Yeah, for me, I'm playing this 9.5. If it were even just a half point more, I'd be flipping to the other side with you guys. I do think that 9.5 is the limit of this window on the spread that I'd be playing it to. Uh, the big thing for me is just weather and where it's at. We're gonna be in Baltimore. It's gonna be cold. It looks like the weather right now says like 23 degrees. It's gonna be a little windy, and the big thing for me is just the Texans, they play really good at home. Okay, and they're going to be taken out of their element here and put on the road to a crowd that has been getting excited for this game for over a month now, right? Like they've been really getting excited for this playoff run that the Ravens are going to be were going to be making. They had, a large suspicion that they would have that first bye week. So, uh, the Texans are, I mean, like they're really happy to be there. They were 6-3 at home. You take them out of NRG Stadium, they're 4-4 on the road. I think that the Baltimore crowd gets loud, gets violent. I think it's going to be cold. I like the Ravens to play in the element just a little bit better. Like I said, 9.5. It is a large spread. It is, like I said, the limit to which I would play it. But I think that 10 points is doable for the Ravens, and I like them uh, this Saturday.
All right. So with the prop bets that we have for this particular game, Tommy, you've got some anytime touchdowns from Lamar Jackson and Nico Collins plus 400. That is very enticing.
Very much so, and especially after what we've seen from the Texans' run defense, especially against the running backs. They're going to be a little bit more stifling on defense when it comes to like the running back game because I mean, we talk about those run heavy teams. A lot of them have very stationary quarterbacks. Last week, they succeeded against the run against a team with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco isn't necessarily known for his legs. Yeah. And you put Lamar Jackson there, they're going to play well against the run. I don't think the Ravens are going to do very well in the backfield from a running back perspective, but when they need to get sparks in the run game, the best guy to go to is Lamar Jackson. I have a very good feeling that he's going to find his way into the end zone. I'm all on board for that. And Nico Collins is at this point, it feels like he's almost a guarantee to catch a touchdown pass every game. I mean, he is right now the go-to guy for CJ Stroud. Now that Tank Dell's out, like the receiver room is a little bit battered, beaten up, and Collins has been consistently almost like getting 100-yard games and catching a touchdown. And I feel like plus 400 money on this is unbelievable. I would see it more at plus 152 where your props at.
Well, and that's the thing is everybody knows Nico Collins is the guy, and it doesn't matter. They all know he's the guy that Stroud is looking for, and they still can't stop him. So yeah, he's been fantastic, and obviously, uh, well, Ben agrees with you on the Lamar Jackson anytime touchdown. Ben, tell us about your prop.
Yeah, I just think that Lamar Jackson is the best athlete on the field when he's playing. Like when the Baltimore offense is out there, no one is as good as him. Athletically, if a play breaks down on the goal line, he'll just find a way to with his legs to get it done. I feel pretty confident in that. If it's in plus money, I'm gonna take it. Uh, so yeah, I
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, and my prop bet is Jackson going 225 or more passing yards, and Stroud going 225 or more passing yards. I feel like those are modest totals. I feel like that they both should be able to hit that. And again, I'm in plus money at plus 152. I like it. I like all of our props on this game. I would not be surprised if we all cashed in on this game, as we all hope that it happens. All right, the second game on Saturday night. This will be the Green Bay Packers. They are at the other number one seed, the San Francisco 49ers. Tommy and Ben have the 49ers. I like the Packers to cover that 10-point spread. I don't like the Packers to win. I think the 49ers will move on, but 10 points is a pretty big spread for a team that's, well, hasn't really, I mean, they haven't played in 2 weeks now because they sat most of their starters for the game against the Rams. And then, of course, they had the bye week. They played well the week before the Rams, but then they also got their asses kicked by the Ravens the week before that. Whereas the Packers have been in kind of playoff mode for the last 3 weeks. Jordan Love is as hot as anybody in football right now. I like them to keep this game close, although the superior talent of the 49ers will win out and they will win the game. But it's a 7 or 8 point win, not a 10 to 14 point win. So I am going with the Packers. But you guys don't agree with that.
No, I do not, Kyle Garlett. And this is because we got to look at the history of this season. Brock Purdy had his game against the Ravens. Obviously, probably the worst. It was easily the worst game of his career statistically. His game against the Commanders where they won by 17, it wasn't necessarily like show stopping. Like, he had a good game, but it was just a regular Brock Purdy game. There wasn't anything crazy. But the last time that the Niners were on bye, they were coming off of a 3-game losing streak. There was doubts cast on Brock Purdy and that Niners team. Thought he couldn't lead that team. They were a fluke. I don't think any of us really cast doubt on that. We all knew it was going to happen. But there was a lot of media coverage and fan coverage on this team falling off. But out of that bye, Brock went back home to the farm, tending to the crops. And that little bit of time where he was able, he talked about it. He said he went home, he talked to his family, it humbled him, it got him back on track. That time to be able to sit down, get your head straight, and then the second they came out of the bye, they were the strongest team in football. I think it's a whole different story relating to the Ravens off the bye and the Niners off the bye. The Houston Texans, I think, are a better team than the Packers. And I also think that the Houston Texans have like that motivation and that momentum is going to impact them more against the Ravens team. I think that bye for the Ravens doesn't mean as much as it does for the Niners because the Niners have proven that off the bye, they are incredible. So at this point, I think that you got to give the Niners the benefit of the doubt. And betting against the Niners is statistically going to lose you money. So I have to pick the Niners
here. We were talking right before the show, and it made me start thinking, and this is live on the spot. I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm sorry. I gotta go with the Green Bay Packers. They haven't lost a football game since mid-December. They are just one competitive team, and it's been a minute since the 49ers have blown out anybody at home. Okay, and you just kind of look at some of these games, and you know don't you just kind of feel like Love could take over? Isn't there just something kind of magical about that organization that may have started it all, quote unquote, over in Wisconsin? There's so much legacy and so much history. It just kind of makes sense for a young quarterback taking over the reins to just make a wild run and possibly upset the Goliath in the conference. I don't know, dude. It just seems like a storyline that fans would love. I don't know. I
here. Love.
don't know. I'm just here. In the moment, 10 points. It's a big spread. Can't say that they'll win, but I think I'm gonna jump on the train with Kyle and go with this young team of hope and destiny, and I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. And if it doesn't come to fruition, you're welcome, Tommy, for not jinxing your team like you did to mine all season. So it's okay. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm going with
I
the
would like to
Packers.
pull a little Kyle here, though. I'd like to pull a little Kyle Garlett here, if that is all right with you. Um, so
I
if
don't
you
even know
look,
what that means. So I'm looking forward to this.
He's
if you look
honored, dude.
back,
He's getting ready.
so you speak on the Packers having not lost since mid-December. Now let's look at the teams that they beat and how they played against those teams since December. So obviously, the last time they lost, they had a 2-game losing streak to the Giants and the Bucks. So their first game in this win streak was against the Panthers. and they won 33-30, and Bryce Young had a career football game throwing for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bryce Young statistically in every category outplayed Jordan Love in this game. And I don't know if I'm mistaken, but is that not the most points the Panthers put up all season?
So,
I may
but
be wrong.
but who won?
Let's move on, right?
It's the
So
biggest stat, Tommy. It's the
oh yeah,
biggest stat.
the winner, but the Panthers versus the Niners. Now let's move on to their game against the Vikings, right? They won, and they won substantially. I'll give them that against a Vikings team that had a mix of Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins at quarterback. I'm pretty sure they started Jaron Hall this game. Jaron Hall sucked, so they put Nick Mullins back under fire. So let's move on to that last game before the playoffs. I'll give them the Cowboys. They deserve the Cowboys. But then they played against the Bears, and the Bears went 7-10 this year. Nothing crazy. Now, I will give them the Cowboys. But from what I've seen from the last couple of games that are in their win streak, it seems like the Cowboys could really be in fluke territory.
Okay,
And the
yeah.
Cowboys,
Now,
the Cowboys lose
Okay,
20 Madden overall in the playoffs.
if the streak was the only thing that they did this season, sure, but they also beat the Chiefs. They went into Ford and they beat the Lions. Are we gonna pretend like that didn't happen either? Those are two good football teams because they're both still playing football right now. So like, well, let's give them some respect here. They have
Okay.
done some things.
They
Tommy-
won in Ford.
Tommy,
I'll give-
there's the risk when you do something like what you just did is that I'm now staring at the 49ers schedule. And the last time the 49ers won, they beat the Washington Commanders, the number 2 overall pick in the draft. They beat the Arizona Cardinals before that, not a good team. They beat the Seattle Seahawks, not a playoff team. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who just got their asses handed to them for the 6th time in 7 games. Seahawks, again, not a playoff team. The last win they had that is somewhat respectable was against Tampa Bay, November 19th. And again, we're talking about Tampa Bay, the default winner of the NFC South. We're not talking about a world beater. They beat Jacksonville, but Jacksonville proved that they actually just were shitting the bed at that time. So we have to go back to early October when the 49ers beat the Cowboys, and then they beat the Rams back in September. They don't have a string of wins over top teams. So look, are all the Packers wins impressive? No, of course not. But are all the 49ers wins impressive? No, of course not. So I mean, I think what Ben and I have decided is that we go with the team that has the better quarterback, and that is clearly Jordan Love.
You guys are terrible. I can't believe this. This is a scam. See, everyone
Oh,
to the show, these two co-hosts, friends of mine, they hate me. This is all a plot to get in my head, but that won't shake me. That won't shake me. The Niners are winning, and they're gonna come out and smoke the Packers, and
right.
these two are gonna be eating bird.
I don't like it about I don't know about bird, but I mean I guess I can eat bird.
chicken?
All
Some
right.
poultry.
Well, let's go ahead and look at how our prop bets shake out because they may be interesting. And Ben, you are obviously able to change your prop bet too. We can make that a
I don't
make
even
that a
remember
thing.
what my prop was.
Your prop bet was the 49ers scoring a touchdown in their first drive.
Oh yeah, I still like it.
You still like and plus 160 too. Tommy, you've got CMC having a pretty good game with a touchdown, and he goes over on his rush yards. And then Brandon Ayuk, with a pretty modest 68.5 receiving yards, plus 320. I don't hate that at all. I think that's I like that.
I mean, yeah, I think that both of these would be pretty average performances for either of these two guys. I mean, and we've seen that when the Niners play teams of a higher caliber that are outside of like actual playoff teams outside of, when they played the Eagles, when they were actually good, when they played the Cowboys, play the Rams, that they rely on their best guys. And Ayuk has, I mean, he's one of the better receivers in the NFL this year. He came out and really showed out. I was very impressed by him this year. And before the Rams game where he didn't play very much, he had 200-yard games in a row. And it's just kind of like with that consistency, I could see him getting. I mean, 70 is not far off for him. And then you add on to the fact that CMC is the best running back in football, and they're going to obviously in the playoffs he's going to get a higher workload. It's not giving him rest, putting Jordan Mason in the game, letting him take a couple carries. It's going to be a much harder workload for the star players. CMC is going to get 25 to 30 carries, and he will go over 100, and he will score a touchdown.
I've got Aaron Jones going over 67.5 rush yards. He went over 100 yards last week. I think that the Packers are going to rely heavily on him. He's been playing great football recently. I think he's going to be a workhorse. And because of that, the pace of the game is going to be a little slower than some people think. I've got both Jordan Love and Brock Purdy going on their unders. Love under 250.5 and Purdy under 266.5, along with the Jones over. That pays me plus 435. So again, I like all of our prop bets. All of them are bets that could hit. They are not pie in the sky, Hail Mary passes. And certainly when the 49ers find themselves down by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, I think you're going to see Ayuk's passing yards go way up. So that's probably a pretty good pick there by you, Tommy.
Jesus Christ.
All right, moving to Sunday. After we've obviously decided exactly what's going to happen on Saturday. Let's move on to Sunday. And we start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are at the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, oh my, break out the city of Detroit. They have a playoff winner for the first time since 1991. Will they have a playoff winner 2 times in a row? Something that has never happened for the Lions. Well, Ben, go ahead and give us your caveat that the Snow is going to win. They're just not going to cover.
They will. They will. It's just 6 points, friends. Come on now. It was a 1-point game last week. You really want me to? I can't give them more. Come on now. They will. They will.
Okay. So to clarify, all 3 of us think Detroit will win the game. Tommy and I think they'll cover the 6-point spread. Ben thinks it'll be a closer game than that.
It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a quarterback duel for the ages. Come on, Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, huh?
Two number 1 overall picks. Obviously, we all predicted that when the season began that Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield would be involved in a postseason shootout as former number 1 overall picks.
Imagine saying this 2 years ago.
Let's see if the prop bets back that up. All right. Well, Tommy has no. Tommy says under for both quarterbacks. And the Detroit win, though, by at least a touchdown. Now, Tommy, plus 1,100 on that bet. So I see why you're doing it. That payday is pretty hefty.
Yeah, I mean, this is, sometimes the sports betting stuff comes down to a gut feeling. And that gut feeling is that I don't think either of them are going to have bad games. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think putting Jared Goff at over 281.5 is a little bit extreme, because even last week when he had a good game against a pretty good defense, he had 277. He was under that number. And I think the Buccaneers defense is fairly good, and they have one of the best safeties in football, Antoine Winfield. And Jared has really only hit that over a few times this season, and those are the times he goes over 300. And if he's not going over 300, he's going under 281.5. And for Baker, I love his consistency. I love what he's done so far at the end of the season, but every once in a while he scatters in a 100 and something yard game. I don't think that's going to happen because I think they're going to end up being behind, but I could see Baker having a 220-yard, one touchdown or two touchdown, one pick kind of game, or one touchdown, no picks. I think that's going to be kind of the layout of this game. It's going to be a little bit of back and forth, a lot of check downs, a couple of punts. But at the end of the day, I think Detroit is going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. I think it's going to be between 7 and 12 points. I see it sitting around 10. And if we get all of these hitting together, 1,100 plus 1,100 is serious money.
So Ben, you've been pretty conservative in your prop bets, certainly last week, and even this week. But this one here, you're going for it all. You have got a plus 550 prop bet.
Yeah. Well, you ever seen that movie Field of Miracles? I'm pretty sure they took that grass and put it straight into Ford Field. Cause let me tell you what, that was the only exciting football game the playoffs so far. Okay, and I am a diehard football fan, so I'm gonna bet and cheer and root for fun football. Unlike Tommy, I can't be out here betting and hoping and praying that there's some incompletions here and there. I can't be betting on that. What kind of fan would I be? Oh, go defense. What is this, the 70s? Come on now. It's all about the offense, baby. Both of these quarterbacks are going to have perfect days. They're both going to complete 56 of 56 for 450 yards. It's going to be insane.
Jesus
It's going to be
Christ.
explosive. It's going to be fireworks.
Wait, I want to check and see what those stats would make you in
What-
money real quick.
What can I tell you that you don't already know? Gut instinct. The Lions play exciting football because they're a team for the fans. Okay? They could go out there and spank everyone by 14 to 20 points, but they don't. They don't because they want you to be excited. They see Kevin Hart on those DraftKings commercials asking for some more thumps in his chest, and they're like, "Don't worry, Kevin, we got you." Okay? That's what I'm telling you guys. The Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are about to put on the best game of the playoffs. Get excited, buckle in for this. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, and come on, don't be like Tommy. Cheer for the fun.
Actually, guys, I couldn't replicate that stat line, but if you put together a quick little parlay in DraftKings and you pick Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield alternate passing yards over 325, and Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns, you're at plus 2,100 money.
I don't advocate for that, but that is in fact what I am rooting for because I'm a true football fan.
I
Maybe,
mean, that's
I might throw a 10 spot on that just to see what happens. Who knows?
kind of like a tiny bit realistic. That's the worst part.
I mean, Mayfield had 337 yards last week, so why not?
Come on, let's do it. Let's all do it. Let's just do it.
I'm putting my house down on it. I'm putting
Yes.
I'm putting my car on it.
Right now, your kid's going to state school. Put that money, take their college account, put that in there so you can send them to Harvard. That is what will happen. All right.
Or invest in a good ACT prep book.
So last week I did Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown and Amon-Ra St. Brown 100 plus yards receiving, and I got plus 276, and it hit. I love it. I love that combination. It's only plus 232 this week, but I'm still going to roll with it. It scored for me last week. I still think these are the two go-to guys in this offense. When Goff needs a completion, he always looks for St. Brown. When this team needs a touchdown, Gibbs is the guy. Yeah, David Montgomery has been fantastic too. You can't go wrong. I would absolutely put money down on a David Montgomery anytime touchdown as well. But I think Gibbs also gets in the end zone, and I like that at plus 232. Hey, the Lions played the best game of the wild card round. Would it surprise anyone if they played the best game of the divisional round? Not at all. All right, final game, our fourth game, And for the third time in 4 years, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills meet in the playoffs. The last time was 2 years ago. 13 seconds were left on the clock. The Bills were going to win. And then Patrick Mahomes ripped their hearts out, tied the game, won it with a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce in overtime. Buffalo now finally gets to host this game, and it is going to be cold. It is going to be snowy, and the Bills Mafia is going to be out in force. But Ben and I still are going to go with the Chiefs. Tommy, however, thinks that Buffalo is finally going to get over on Kansas City in the playoffs and win this game and go to the AFC Championship game. Tommy, let's go ahead and start with you.
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why I picked the Bills here, but one of the minor reasons is that in our preseason selections, I picked them to win it all. So there's a part of me that's like, I gotta stick to my guns,
So you
and
want them to win less than you think they'll win.
not necessarily. I do think they could win because if there's any year they're going to win, it's going to be this one because this is as much as the Chiefs are every year they are a contender of all years, this is the year that they have an opportunity to beat them because the Chiefs' receiving core is in the gutter. They have major drop issues. Patrick Mahomes, although a lot of it hasn't necessarily been his fault, there has been issues with turnovers and throwing picks. I'm not saying that doesn't apply to Josh Allen. Obviously, it applies to Josh Allen more than anybody else on the planet. And I have a stipulation to change my prop bet a little bit. That's going to add crazy money to it, which I'll get to later. But I think of
Okay.
any year of the Bills to be able to take advantage of this, especially at home, um, it's the one time I'm going to be able to pick the Bills over the Chiefs. So I think it's the best time to pick the Bills over the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, they are at home, so that's completely fair. The Bills did beat the Chiefs when they played earlier in the year, although that game came down to an offsides call on Kadarius Toney. And the Chiefs have been vulnerable. There's no question about it. They did play great last week. Rashee Rice has really blossomed as a wide receiver, and they have now a true wide receiver one, but it does drop from a wide receiver one down to a wide receiver four. There really is nobody who qualifies at two or three. So they are limited there, but the Bills defense took even more injuries against the Steelers. Their linebacking core has been decimated. And I think that is going to open up the middle of the field for Isaiah Pacheco, for Travis Kelce. My prop bet will involve those two gentlemen and that decimated Bills defense right now. Look, it's about being good, but it's also about being lucky. The Dolphins went into the game last week decimated by injuries, and they got their butts kicked. The Bills now even more injuries. I don't think they'll get their butts kicked because they're a better team than the Dolphins. Certainly, they're a better team than the Dolphins when the weather's bad, and the weather will be bad. Both these teams just survived really terrible weather games, so the weather's not. I don't think the weather's a factor. But I do still like the Chiefs just because they've been there. This would be their sixth straight AFC Championship game if they win this game. The Bills over that same period have been to one AFC Championship game, which they lost to the Chiefs.
You know, I I like this Chiefs defense. They've been playing super well. They have a way of keeping uh like passing touchdowns down, which has been cool to see. Ultimately, though, what it comes down to for me is that game that we saw earlier, the way that it ended left a lot of those Chiefs feeling a certain way, and in a way that uh, terrifies me. Patrick Mahomes is already in my nightmares, but angry Patrick Mahomes, possibly with a chipped helmet, scarier. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy's terrifying. And ultimately, at the end of the day, Bills Mafia, you just gotta know who your daddy is. I'm sorry, that's just ultimately what it is. There's a nice seat over here next to the Raiders and the Broncos and the Chargers over here in the AFC West. You can sit down with us. We're in the back of the minivan. We're hoping that Dad pulls us, gets us some ice cream on the wherever we're going.
Some McDonald's
But
maybe.
unfortunately, until some power dynamics shift in the AFC, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is daddy. So we're just gonna have to sit down and shut up, no matter how much it sucks. The dude is maybe the best to ever spin the ball, and I just think that he does it again. The stakes and the pressure is so high. Yeah, everyone knows I'm a Josh Allen doubter. I do think the pressure will sink in because I just keep hoping it will. But I don't know, man. The Chiefs just seem like the team of destiny, and they always seem like the team of destiny, and so it's just hard to get out of that way of thinking. So
Well,
until there's this
yeah,
giant power shift, yeah, I'm with the Chiefs.
I watched the way the Bills lost to the Bengals last year in the playoffs at home in the cold and snow. And I feel like that this Bills team is not as good as the Bills team from last year. And so why do I think that this Bills team is going to go further than last year's team? And I have a hard time with that. Could it happen? Of course it could happen. I just don't predict that it will. Let's get on to our prop bets. We each have a prop from this game. Tommy likes his quarterbacks. Go ahead and tell us about that prop, please.
Yeah, so I actually may I add a stipulation to this?
Yes, you may.
So my prop, I'm gonna have those same stats. Don't worry, I'm not changing everything. But adding to this parlay, I'm taking over half an interception on both of these guys. And that brings the total from plus 224 to plus 1100.
Okay.
I think it's with how these two guys have been playing specifically this season. I mean, Josh Allen is second in interceptions thrown this season. Patrick Mahomes is fourth. And whether it be Patrick's own fault or his receivers dropping a pass or tipping one in the air in the Buffalo cold and giving it, handing it to Buffalo safeties, I think last week, Josh Allen not throwing an interception is a do tell for what's going to happen this week. And going into their rivalry in the postseason, well, not even a rivalry. It's more of just Mahomes owning Josh Allen in the playoffs, but they still both play well against each other in the playoffs. And with these passing yard stipulations, um, in their two in the AFC Championship in 2020 when they played against each other, Mahomes threw for 325 yards and Allen threw for 287. Both of them hitting their overs. And then in the overtime divisional round in 2021, Mahomes threw for 378 yards and Allen threw for 329. Statistically, when these guys play in the playoffs, they pass the ball more, they complete the ball more, and they have more passing yards. And as they're going to be slinging it, because statistically and historically they have slung it, um, they are two of the highest interception throwing players in the league. Again, whether it be their own faults or not, Josh Allen, most of the time it's his fault. Patrick Mahomes, I'd say it's a good 50-50 split sometimes. But there's a really good shot of them both throwing picks, and that money is insane for these statistics. They have proven that this is a common theme for them, at least this season and in their past playoff matchups. But you can also get plus 1100 money on it. That it seems unbeatable. I have to, if I was legally able to bet, which I will in May, this is what I'd be putting my money on. My real life money, I'm putting as much as I can down on this. I'm putting my house, my car, my student loans money for college, everything I'm putting down on this bet.
Well, I like the Allen and Mahomes totals, as you said. That when these guys played each other in the playoffs, they rack up the yards, and it's almost a guarantee that one of them is going to throw an interception. It's hard to believe that in a game with that many passing attempts that there's not going to be one pick. So then all you're looking for is one extra pick from the other guy to quadruple your money up to 1100. that seems like a pretty good bet. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Um, since I am legally allowed to bet, I'm gonna probably not put everything I own down on it, but I'm gonna put something down on it for sure because that's a pretty tasty little bet. Ben, you've got plus 220 on the Chiefs coming from behind to win, which feels like it's how they've always beat the Bills.
Yeah, I like a bet where I'm feeling good when Bills fans are not, right? This is a perfect bet for me to be sitting very comfortable second quarter, halftime going into the third when the Bills are inevitably up like I don't know, like 13-7 or something, right? Cuz they know it's just one deadly flick of the wrist. It can all just go kapoof. And that's where I like to live. And at plus 220, are you kidding me? That is an insane line for the Chiefs just have to be down at some point. Okay, so if they defer the coin toss and Buffalo goes down and Tyler Bass accidentally kicks a field goal, okay? Because he wasn't aiming for it if he does. If the ball somehow sails through the uprights and they go up 3-0 and the Chiefs just one-way traffic, the bet still hits. So I mean, I'm gonna bet this every single time. This is
Yeah, no,
amazing odds.
that's what it is. It's not that the Chiefs have to have a fourth quarter comeback. This is a money line bet on Kansas City to win the game. And all it means is that at one point they weren't wire to wire leaders. At
Yeah,
one point they trailed by as much as 1 point. And that all of a sudden doubles your money line bet.
I feel like
Feels like
this
a
game's
no
gonna go back
feels
and
like a
forth. So
no-brainer.
yeah, why
Feels
wouldn't
like a
we?
no-brainer.
Let's just go hit this and
Yeah,
I'll take it to the bank.
I would suspect that we're going to see two or three lead changes in this game. So all you need is one. All you need is one lead change, and you've got your bet. So yeah, I like that a lot. For me, I'm going to go with Travis Kelsey, 70 plus receiving yards. His actual over unders in the mid 60s. I'm teasing it up to 70 just because I think that the middle of that field is going to be weak. There are going to be some backups playing for Buffalo there in the middle of that field. Now that Rashee Rice has really established himself as somebody to watch for, that's going to take some of the defensive heat off of Kelsey. And the fact is that Kelsey still comes up big in big games. 70 yards is not that big. 70 yards is an average game for Travis Kelsey, and I think he gets there. And then Isaiah Pacheco goes over 63 rush yards. Isaiah Pacheco has become easily the main guy running the football. Really, nobody else touches the ball more than 2 or 3 times a game. And again, that defense for the Bills is banged up. Pacheco over 63 rush yards, and then I'm throwing in I had initially just had the Kelsey and Pacheco bets. I looked at to see what my boost in odds would be if I added a Josh Allen interception. Well, Josh Allen didn't throw an interception last week, but the last time he went 2 weeks in a row without throwing an interception was last year. He never did that this year. There's no reason to think he's going to go 2 weeks in a row with that interception. This was Ben's bet for all season long. I'm going to piggyback it. That boosts my odds up to plus 600. So I am going to jump on that. Come on, Joshy. Just throw me one pick. The other two things I think will take care of themselves. And I am sitting pretty after that game. Those are the 4 games of the divisional round, the best weekend of football in the NFL season. It's sad that it's almost here. It's sad that it's going to be over because at that point, then we only have 3 more games left, 2 championship games, and then the Super Bowl. Okay, so guys, I'm going to start with you, Ben. The best game of the weekend, the game you're most looking forward to watching.
Oh man, I'm excited for the Snoil to pull out a 3-point victory at the last second, walk-off field goal. It's gonna be exciting in Ford. It's gonna be what an environment. I was looking at Ticketmaster just for shits and giggles. I think it was like 850 for the nosebleeds. That is
Nice.
That is where you want to be in the football world. I think this weekend it is going to be it's going to be ruckus. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Tell me.
It's a toss up for me, but I think everybody knows that Kansas City and Buffalo is going to be a good game. But for the game that I'm going to really be watching, it's going to be Houston Baltimore. I think that game is going to surprise a lot of people, and it's just a lot of fun to watch C.J. Stroud and Lamar Jackson ball out.
Yeah, you've got the guy who's going to win the MVP award versus the guy who's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I mean, there's something really fun about that quarterback matchup. That, yeah, it's. I love D'Amico Ryans too as a head coach. You've got the second longest tenured head coach in John Harbaugh versus the rookie head coach in D'Amico Ryans. There's a lot to love about that game.
And it's new. It's
Yeah.
new and it's fun and it's at high stakes. It's not like, we see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen duke it out every season. Like, yeah, it's fun, but it's the same thing. This is fresh. This is new. I love it.
Well, you think about the four quarterbacks that are remaining in the AFC. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Those are the three best quarterbacks in the AFC. And then you've got CJ Stroud. Maybe he's making a case that he's the fourth best quarterback in the AFC, that he belongs in that top four, ahead of Trevor Lawrence, maybe ahead of Joe Burrow. I mean, it's, there's the quarterback play that we're going to see on this weekend is fantastic. Ben, for me, the Lions game, I'm actually going to be in Detroit the following weekend, the weekend of the championship games. So if Detroit could somehow make it into the NFC championship game and I can be in even if they're on the road, to be in the city when the Lions are playing for the opportunity to go to their first ever Super Bowl, I think would be just an absolute blast. So I'm really,
Got to find a
really,
watch party somewhere, man.
I'm
absolutely
excited.
no. The wife and I will go find some kind of bar. Maybe for, even if the game is, in San Francisco, if it's Lions at the 49ers, they'll fill Ford Field with I've seen a couple of actual games in Ford Field. It's a really great venue to watch football in.
That's cool.
Go down there to watch on the big screen with a bunch of Lions fans, I think would be an absolute blast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game because I mean, you just had Michigan Wolverines win the national championship. Now you got the Detroit Lions. If you are a Michigan football fan, what a time to be alive. Yeah,
I'm excited because I'm gonna be in Michigan for some comedy gigs this weekend. So I'm gonna be around the Snoil faithful. I'm gonna see if we can't get
nice.
this started rolling in Michigan. I like the Snoil. And they should like me calling them the Snoil because they've looked pretty good since I have been calling them. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe they should call me up on marketing, huh? But
Where are you
yeah,
going to be
no.
in Michigan?
We're gonna be in. I have no clue. It starts with a B. There's a W in it. It doesn't look like a true. It's like one of those Wisconsin towns where they just kind of put S's and W's in the middle of it next to vowels, and you're like, that's not real. You
Ladies
know?
and gentlemen, this is how you promote an event. There, absolutely. This is a lesson to you. This is
Yeah.
this is absolutely how you want to promote your own event.
So
To
good at
not
promoting stuff. Look up Nate Armbruster. I'm gonna be with him. We're gonna be somewhere in a brewery wherever he drops me off and tells me to tell the joke. So that's the plan. But we're gonna watch some Lions football, and that's the more important
excellent,
thing, because that's
excellent.
way more exciting than
Hey,
anything that
man.
will be happening in the comedy world.
I just found like a list of like 30 towns in Michigan that start with the letter W. So I was really trying to focus it down a little bit, but it didn't help at all.
Yeah, no, I go to Michigan a lot because my wife's from there. So I was hoping that it was a place that I knew, but I mean, yeah. Well, that
No
wraps
clue.
up our divisional round show. Oh, one thing we did not get to, and let me get back to that, 'cause we showed our graphics here, but we did not get to our playoff points. Our playoff. We drafted playoff teams, and here we are. So I am currently in the lead with 12, thanks to the Green Bay Packers picking up 9 big points as the first 7 seed to win. Tommy, though, has 3 teams still alive. So he's got a really good chance of passing me. Houston, Kansas City, and Buffalo. So he's going to for sure get a win out of one of those games. And thank God the Buccaneers won, because otherwise Ben would have been shut out in the first week and he would have had no teams left after the wild card weekend. Thank you, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But yeah, so right now I'm in the lead, but it is possible that I don't have any teams left after this week. We know for certain that Tommy will have at least one. That is our playoff pool through the wild card weekend. Apologies for the coughing. It is, damn it, we got back up to 50 degrees here in Denver after our -5 over the weekend. And then son of a bitch dropped down into the 20s again and we got snow. What the hell? Can I just have some consistency? That's all I ask.
I've been snowed in my house for like 2 days. Today was the first day I was able to really go out.
Yeah,
That's a good thing the Broncos aren't playing, right?
Well, yeah.
No, because I'd find a way to make them lose.
The Broncos very rarely play in January anymore, so that's a
No,
nice
but when we
thing.
do, we host, so it would be an issue, Kyle. It would be an issue.
Back then, though, there wasn't even climate change. So I don't think it even snowed in January. So
That's crazy.
You say in 2015 like it was back then. Oh no, the history. Oh, the history machine. Time keeps progressing. That is almost a decade away. Oh, I'm so sorry, Broncos country.
Boo!
Let's
Paxton
die.
Lynch!
Oh, stop it.
Brock Osweiler!
Ooh,
Sad.
look at those! Look at those blasts from the past.
Oh no.
Casey Keenum was going to be a stud too. So that is our show. Divisional round playoffs coming up this weekend. Thank you to all of you who have tuned in on YouTube, who are listening to us on your podcast platform of choice. Thank you to Ben O'Connell, who is in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you to Tommy Birch, who's in Springfield, Massachusetts. I am Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. Until next week's championship game preview, happy betting.
I'll see you this week in Dowagiac. That's right, I found it. Don't worry.
That is not a city. That is made up.
I told you. I told you, dude.